Hey.
Once again, family,
No, I'm good. Thank you. I'm good.
give it up for yourselves again, family, please.
What a holy host of free-willing contributors. Hey,
Yes.
what a holy host. Hey, how many ancestors we done gathered on the mountaintop, King?
Talk to him, brother.
Trey.
How many
Talk to 'em.
ancestors free-willingly up here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, what a holy host. Yeah, what a blessing to be one in the number.
Yes, sir.
Can't take a moment for granted. Not in a time like this. No, not in a time like this. Yes, I.
Thank
we
you, brother.
here. Yo, we here.
it's
And Faith
important-
Move Mountains.
Yes. Again, it's important
Faith
that we hear
Moves
from
Mountains,
Ross,
King. Yeah.
because today is the Ethiopian New Year, right? And we know the origins of this thing that we call Christianity, we could trace back to Ethiopia. We know about Coptic Christianity. So people continuously, when they see the Pope, they say, oh, that's our symbols, and they took that from us. When are we going to take back what's ours?
Hey.
That's all I want to know. So when people see me with this particular motif, they get very confused, and they're like, you know, because it triggers some people, understandably. You feel me? This is the reason why we are on the head of the Vatican and the Catholic Church, because of all of the mismanagement that they have done with things that are sacred, right? And why should these people be allowed to masquerade, right? And we know that, or those of us that know the history of this particular place that we call Ameximo, America, we know that the dominion or the discovery, or what they call the discovery, or what they call, you know, all of everything fucked up here started because of the church. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Basically.
May 4th, 1493, Pope Alexander VI, he issued a papal bull, which is a decree from the church. They call it the Encyclica, right? Or the doctrine of discovery. And he split the world in two. Now, for somebody who's never been to America, you're going to split the world and give an entire country a side of the planet that you've never been to. That's very fucking arrogant, right? So he split the world in two. He gave one side to Portugal, the east, and he said, go conquer in the name of Christ, because it's an extension. What they practiced was called Christendom, which is an extension of what Constantinople or Constantine created when he merged Rome, the empire of Rome, with the church. And they figured that they could masquerade domination and dominion under the sign of the cross to say, okay, we're going to conquer in the cross, but they do it by the way of the sword. Now, if it's the Prince of Peace, how you going to push peace on people at the point of a sword or the barrel of a gun?
Exactly.
Right? If it's peace, you should be able to offer it, put it on the table like a cup of clean glass, and it should say, okay, well, you know, we got these customs over here where we are doing human sacrifice and rolling people down the mountain, because that's what they say about the Mayans. Right? I want to try your thing out, so maybe I'm just going to go. That's not how they did that. Right? They went and they decimated entire populations of people, and they stole their riches, and they were masquerading using this covenant of Christ in order to do this destruction around the planet. So if you have it in your heart, you know, because a lot of people grew up around Christianity, you know, a lot of people grew up with it in their home, a lot of people just grew up with love and peace in their heart, right? And this motif of the character named Jesus Christ is a motif of a character who has a heart in his hand, right? He represents the constellation or the sign of the sun, or the sign of Leo, and the symbol of the sun, right? And Leo is the sign of the king. And the sign of the king resonates with the heart, because the king is the highest servant in the land. Not the person who has the most amount of servants. The king is the person who serves the most amount of people. You feel me? And you gotta have an open heart, you gotta have love, and again, that love has to flow overabundant in order for you to give, in order for you to be there for yourself, for your family, for community, right? In order for you to love on people that you've never even met, you have to have a level of love and abundance, right? So you have to have a self-care regimen and program for yourself. Don't take it for granted to think that you got it to give, right? Because you'll deplete yourself, and then when you need to get some of that love back, it might not be there. And then you grow resentful. You feel me? And then you grow resentful. So make sure that you are practicing some sort of self-love ritual. So I said in the rising, when you get up, you know, before you touch anything, before you touch any, you know, tablet or phone or any of those things, you should develop a self-love ritual for yourself. Now, there's different things that different people do. Very easiest thing that you can do is just hug on yourself when you get up, right? Just commune with your own personal being. Like, God, I love you, man. I appreciate you. I can't do this without you, right? Your love for yourself has to be unconditional because it's non-optional, right? The minute that you give up that particular covenant, the minute you rescind that particular contract, then it's time for you to go, right? So if you want to extend your days, you have to love on yourself. You have to remind yourself every single day, I need you. I appreciate you. I'm not taking none of this for granted. Because I was responsible for waking me up this morning or this rising. So immediately when I come back into this plane, I come into it with gratitude, right? Creative force, whatever you call it, whatever's responsible for tapping me and waking me up, because it wasn't my alarm clock. I slept through that shit. God did. It was that thing that nudged me that was like, get up, it's time. Right? That thing that continues to give, whether I'm hard-headed, whether I'm ignoring it, right? It doesn't give up on me. You feel me? It knows me. It knows me enough to say I can't give up, right? You still need some work. So for that thing, you have to be in full gratitude, right? And then you can go out into the world and start extending the things that you have for the world. But if you haven't given it to yourself, you shortchange your entire existence. You feel me? And you're going to defeat yourself, attempting to look cute in the eyes of other people who can't see you.
Repeat that again.
Right? They can't see you.
I say.
Right? It's impossible for somebody to know you if they don't know themselves.
Right.
Right? Hence the fact that we should never fall into the trap of judgment.
Right.
Right? I cannot judge you for I know not you, I know not myself yet. This is an internal know thyself thing until I tap up out of here. Right? And then my life is in review after the fact. You know how they do it, like when you go to Christmas past and shit, they be like, yeah. So you're not gonna know yourself until it's all said and done. Right? You still, you know, you can't fall into judgment. That's a trap on this plane. You know what I'm saying? They say that, you know, that only God can judge. And there's a reason for that. Right? Or that creative force. Let's say even you and your higher self, if you want to consider it that. You know, you'll get your opportunity when you get to weigh your heart against a feather. That's the judgment.
Hey.
Right? Prior to that, you still are given all of the opportunities to make mistakes. So I don't know if they said, did the guy die for your sin and shit. We out here sinning. Sinning and grinning. I mean, that's how you learn. The story don't add up, but that's neither here nor there. You know, I discovered a way to get into the scripture and to extract meaning out of it because nobody asked our permission. There's like 1,000 different variations of Christianity, and they all got their own way of how they do their thing, right? They don't even go to war with one another. They just be like, you over there, and they do their thing. So I took it upon myself to do my thing. And the way that I said, look, you know, the book is this a hell of a big of a book. Let me just figure out how to get out of it what I need. So I said, whatever the day is in the Christian calendar, i.e. because, again, there's many calendars that exist simultaneously. Hence the fact today is the New Year in Ethiopia.
Hey.
Right? On July 25th, it was the day at a time, and July 26th, it was the New Year in the Mayan Olmec calendar. Right? Which the day that the Pope got beheaded. when they put the crown and feathers on him on July 25th in Canada, right on the day at a time. And then a few days, 3 days later, they registered the shortest day ever because times are changing. We live in a new time. The Pope represents Pisces. This is what this is. It's a fish hat. You see it? Right? We can take this off. Right? So, when they put a new crown on him, and he was in a wheelchair his entire visit because Pisces represents the feet. So he wasn't on his feet. And then he took his crown off. Age of Pisces is done. The church is done. And the queen is dead. Babylon is falling, right? A lot of our people are still tethered to the system, so it might be a cause of celebration for us, but we're gonna lose a lot of people, right? That are connected, that you know, they right underneath this shit. Some of them are using their shoulders to prop it up. You feel me? So we gotta be mindful of that, and preparation needs to be in order, because a lot of us that were dependent on aspects of the system. If the system falls, then what are we gonna do? Right? The universe is finally saying it's time for you to do for self. You keep asking for things, and when I deliver it, you're not ready for your blessings. Right? But you keep asking, right? You keep saying that, oh, what did God do for me? What did Obama do for us? Right? Are you ready to receive? Or is your hands full because you're still holding on to all that shit from the past? You got to put something down to pick something up, right? So you got to empty your cup in order for it to be full for it to run over. But it's filled up with all of this petrified, putrid water like the shit that's stagnant over there. Right? With the mosquitoes be flying in. Right? Yes, you have to get back to season with its his. And then you will allow yourself to be empty enough to be filled up with the thing that you keep praying and asking for. But Spirit keeps saying and saying, you still full of bullshit. Where you gonna fit me at? You feel me? I like to come down to something that's pristine. Hey. Right? God got annihilator gators on with the, you know, he clean. God did. I can't slide into that. Can't do it. So, I want to show you how, you know, when we go into aspects of scripture, again, and please don't let the book trigger you. My thing is this, because people continue, if the word this and the word, look, if the word ain't had no power in it, what are we saying about our people that the word is holding our people down, right? Just like more as we know about paperwork. These people are paper gangsters, and because of social security and birth certificate, our people are literally being held back by ink and paper. On the government level and on the church level by ink and paper. You telling me that a book, right, has knocked my people off of their throne. And they still are in a particular phase where they're like dazed and delirious because of a book, because of a spell that's in a book. So if it's a book of magic, you're telling me by evidence that there's magic and spells in it that work, and the proof of it is our people.
It's the God spell.
Right? So I'm like, all right, well, let's reverse the spell and use it to empower us. Because how can somebody who's not in the book find power from the book, but you in the book and you can't find power from the book? So we love telling, you know, oh, they took it from this. They can tell you every place that they took aspects of the book from, but they cannot find a way to extract no power from that. I don't understand that. So just to show you that the shit lines up perfect, I'm gonna go into the first book, which is Genesis. So Genesis 9:8-11, because again, a lot happened in these past few days, and it should not be separate, right? We have to look at what happened with the queen and when it happened as a very telling sign you know, of being trusting in spirit, right? And having what's called faith. And we get faith confused. We get faith and belief confused. Those terms existed before the Bible. So even though we like identifying them as liturgical terms, they exceed that. And Napoleon Hill said it's necessary for manifestation. You have to have faith and belief. Right? So these are concepts that I ask you to divorce just from religious terms or the Bible. They precede that. So faith is having what? You have knowledge of things that have not yet manifested. Or you don't know the fullness of a message because it hasn't fully registered yet. So when we got the download and it said, open the royal chamber on 9/9, I was like, you know, you know, all right, let me just follow spirit. I could not foretell that the universe would line up and the queen would get knocked out the box on 9/8. And her son, born on my born day, would be installed as the king, right? Or the coronation of the king would take place yesterday, and they call it the ascension, right? The ascension of the Scorpion King. So I'm like, okay, today we're going to be ascending as well. This is our ascension protocol.
Hey!
Right?
Yeah.
Hey!
So we can symbolically identify what it is to ascend, right? And like he said, somebody beautifully put what that journey entails, the way that they set this mountain up. This mountain is a metaphorical symbol of life. And I've been going through this in these airports, these past few trips that I've been taking. You know, an hour on the waiting line for the baggage, an hour security check. Then you gotta get on the train. And then you get to the top of the terminal, and it's like T18, but you in T1. And that's why I start slowing down at. Like, oh, let me get my breath. The spirit is like, it's not over till your body's in the seat.
Right.
Right? You're looking at your watch, you think that you, all right, I'm in good timing. And then you start taking your time. Just to find out that you was a minute too late. Right? It ain't over till it's over till it's over. Right? It's not over till it's over. Yeah, we could take a breath. Yeah, we could take a break. But don't allow yourself to get cemented in the cement. You feel me? So we have to always remain fluid. We have to remain moving, right? We got to move. We have to be asymmetrical. We don't even move in straight lines. Don't be predictable, right? You got to stay dangerous and stay safe at the same time. So I want to go right into Genesis so we can understand what all of this is about and appreciate it because the sun is coming.
Here it comes.
Right? Genesis 9:8 to 9:11. Right? It says, then God said to Noah and his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and your descendants after you and every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all these wild animals, and all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. So we're not worried about the water, because the water ain't gonna kill you. Okay? The water is a reminder that a flood is coming, and that flood is coming don't necessarily have to be one that deals with particular quote-unquote water. Right? There's a different type of flood that may be coming. You feel me? And what we know, what we represent, and what the people are going to wake up to on their phones, there's going to be a flood of love coming to them. Right? So, again, give yourself permission with these words and these scriptures to replace them and make it believe what you needed to believe for you. You have every right to do that. Because they damn sure doing it. They got 1,000 transliterations of the word. Right?